All right, so today's first game is Face Off, and we're gonna move kind of fast and furious so that you're able to play this with students and you can gear it up and gear it down. So the basic title of the game is Face Off, and it's a game about comparison, fluency, and place value. Best played with 2 players. Your basic needs are cards. You're going to be thinking about greater than, less than, and equal to, but you'll also be doing things like addition, subtraction, multiplication, decimals, place value concepts. You're going to be comparing 2 cards, and the only catch is if you compare 2 cards that are equal, you're going to turn over 3 more cards, and the 3rd card determines who gets to take all of the cards. So we want to think about our students, and our basic students are going to fall in this category of benchmark. They're ready to go. But some of our students are going to need some additional supports, and some of our students are going to need some additional challenges. With all of it, we're going to think about a concrete, pictorial, abstract delivery. And all that means is that we're going to use manipulatives when we need to, and we might have to go back to that for some of our students. We're going to add pictures in when we can, and we're going to finally get to the point where they're using abstract numerals. So with our youngest learners, we can get actual objects out, which would be concrete, and we're going to ask students to compare 2 items and decide, is it greater than, less than, or is it in fact equal to? And that's the main premise of the game. So in this case, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is greater than 2. As we progress up, we can change that out for cards. 4 is greater than 2. We can change it out for pictures. 4 is greater than 2. We can also compare numerals, and we can also compare words. So in this case, 4 is still greater than 2, or we could get students to think about it as 2 is less than 4. And as we transition from these cards, we can move into things like place value, where we're looking at teen numbers. 12 is greater than or is less than 14. So 12 is less than 14. So the student who had 14 would get to take those cards before they make their next comparison. So as we move up the grade levels, we're going to start to move more to the abstract. However, at any time, we can pull back in the concrete. So if I pull over 2 cards, one child turns over 8, one child turns over 10. 10 is greater than 8, 8 is less than 10. 10 takes the cards. I can turn over 2 more cards. 9 is greater than 5. 9 takes the cards. Turn over 2 more. And now I can work in basic addition. So 5 plus 6 makes 11. 12 plus 1 makes 13. 13 is greater than 11. 13 takes the cards. I could also start to do some place value work. So I might have 87, and I might have 32, or let's actually call this 78. So here still, 78 is greater than 32. 7 groups of 10, 8 ones, 3 groups of 10, 2 ones. 78 is going to take the cards. And as I move up through the grades, I can start to multiply. 9 times 10 is 90. 1 times 2 is only 2. So 90 is much greater than 2. So 90 would take the cards. As I continue further, I can do some decimal work. So I can take my 2 cards and I can put a decimal between those, and I can end up with 11 and 11 hundredths, or 1 and 2 tenths. So every once in a while, you'll turn over 2 cards and they will be equal. In this case, you're going to turn over the next 3 cards and you're going to compare the 3rd card. So in this case, 12 is greater than 6, and so 12 will get all of those cards. So as we're working with students to make this an intervention and or an extension, we want to get our students talking by asking or telling them to do some things for us. So we can ask them to tell me, how did you know that that number was greater than that number? Show me which number is greater. Why are you correct? We want to get the students talking about the math that they're doing, whether that's with comparison or whether that's with the fluency that they're working on or whether it's with the place value that they're demonstrating. Finally, as we work with students, we want to build up their math confidence as they build their math competence. So we want to give them positive feedback that's specific. So you worked hard on determining which number was greater. You persevered when you were unsure which number was less than. Your effort was amazing when you figured out the biggest number. So your basic scope and sequence of face-off from our earliest learners to our students that are leaving our elementaries starts with that very concrete nature of looking at numbers and developing a firm number sense with counting and cardinality, up into basic addition comparison where my sum is 6 and my sum is 9, into early place value where I'm looking at a group of 10 and 2 more, a group of 10 and 4 more, and comparing those. Moving into multiplication where my product is 60, my product is 24, and 60 is greater than 24. Moving into multi-digit place value where I end up with a number 973 and 654. 973 is greater than 654, and I can move into decimals and I can ebb and flow back and forth through this progression. The key to it is choosing the materials for the students at the right time and making sure that we take out our face cards if we're using a traditional deck of cards. So get going with games, get your game on, and get ready to gear it up or gear it down to meet your students' needs.